Hi, just me, Zoe. I wanted to take a quick second and just thank everybody for their support and their kind words. It's meant so much to me, and it's so humbling. It really is. I'm honored. I did not expect anyone to come across my page and take any interest in me or in what I'm doing, and I'm really just beyond grateful for all of the interaction and the engagement and the community that we're building, which I think is great. It's very supportive already. I know there's other patients living with chronic kidney disease that have reached out, and we're all supporting each other, and we look to find workarounds for the things that we're told we can't do as hemodialysis patients. There's a lot of restrictions on us, a lot. But I just love that we're building this community together, and uplifting one another and sharing what works for us, what works for others, what does not work. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of misinformation as well. Just have to be careful where you're getting your information from, for lack of a better word. So yeah, I think that we're going to do really great things with this platform and with supporting one another, and I'm just really so thankful. Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to answer one quick question. I get this question all the time, several times today alone. The question is, how do I shower? You know, we all like to shower. Technically, we're told we shouldn't if we have a catheter. We should just bathe, have baths. But to me, a bath is meant for lots of warm bubbles and maybe a glass of wine and some music or a book. You know, it's not meant for getting clean. So I like to shower, and I do that every day. So this is how I do it. So I won't bore you with my whole story again, but this is a catheter. It goes through my jugular. This is a watertight bandage. It's called a Tegaderm, and it's very similar to the ones that you get on tattoos. I think they're called second skin or op sites. It's really similar to that. It's just a little bit thicker, and I'm always checking around here, making sure that it's completely down and stuck to me. I use a specific adhesive. It's called Cavalon, and so after the nurses clean take the dressing off, clean it, they'll put Cavalon on, which helps it to adhere a lot better, and also is really helping my skin. I was getting hives all around from the plastic. So this Cavalon is really helping. So if anyone out there has the same problem, try Cavalon. It should be at your local hospital or community unit, and it does really, really work. I start my training for the next stage. It's an XSTAGE machine in earnest tomorrow, and I begin training on that, and that will enable me to travel back and forth between Vancouver and Quebec and not be such a burden on my son and his family to get me to and from dialysis, because it is a lot. I go 4 days a week, so it's a lot. So I'm hoping that this will work out. But this is how I shower. I know you might have a different way. This is just what works for me. I've had almost 7 years of both peritoneal and hemodialysis, and then a lovely 20-year stretch in between where I had a transplant that failed 3 years ago. So I've been back on dialysis for 3 years next month. But yeah, this is how I do it. And so I take a handy little Ziploc bag. So these are called the lumens. They connect to the dialysis machine, to the tubing, and that's how I get dialysis. That's how I connect. So we cannot get them wet because it is a straight shot to the jugular. Introducing any sort of moisture or anything, even a soap, could be deadly. It's seriously deadly. It would be very hard to come back from an infection through the line, or if it gets beyond the site and actually gets into my heart, it would be deadly. So I'm very careful. But I do like to shower, so you know, you do what you have to. So I just take a snack Ziploc baggie. I find the bigger ones are a little bit too bulky, and they're also thicker. The plastic on these is a little bit thinner, and I feel I'm able to sort of manipulate it a little bit better around the lumens and make sure I have an airtight, watertight seal. So I just do it at on the angle, and I bring it around as many times as I can, making sure that the seam, the opening, is pointing down so that there's nowhere that water can pool. And then I take a rubber band and I wrap it as hard as I can, as tight as I can. I pull and wrap it and wrap it and wrap it. And as I wrap it around the length of it, I'm just always folding down the seams and making sure that everything is tucked in. Nothing can be breached. If I end up with a little tail like this, I usually just tuck it under some more elastic. If I was actually getting in the shower, I would have done this a little more carefully, but this is what works for me. Yeah, so I do that. It's completely watertight here now, the sealed. There's nothing pointing up that's going to introduce or let water in. And then once I'm in the shower, I use a face cloth and I press it against my body as hard as I can, just again because I'm paranoid of letting anything get in. So I press that against me as hard as I can, and I wear a shower cap, which is very sexy. And I put it on in between when I'm shampooing and conditioning, and then again when I'm doing a treatment on this crazy hair of mine. I always make sure I'm wearing a shower cap so that it eliminates as much as possible any dripping that could go down. And that's how I do it. I know there's probably other ways that you do it, and I'd be thrilled to learn from you. I think that as patients, we've all become pretty good at figuring out workarounds and making things work for our lives, because we are chronically ill. We are the 1%ers, we call ourselves. You know, if anything bad's going to happen, it's 1% chance it's going to happen to us. So we need to support each other, and if there are ways that we've come up with making life a little bit more manageable and allowing us a little bit more freedom, then I think it's worth sharing, and this is one such thing. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you again. I am truly humbled and honored for all your support, and I think that keeping Zoe alive in 2025 might work out after all. Let's hope it does. Thank you so much, and let me know what do you think? What do you use as a hemodialysis patient? What do you use to shower with? I'm interested to know. Thanks so much. I hope you're all having a great day. Bye.